Hello and welcome to another Facebook Live. It's good to be back with you again. My name's Craig. If this is the first time you're watching us live, I'm from the podcast inglespodcast.com, where you can listen to English for free and improve your level, and the website mentioningles.com that has free courses and free resources to help you improve your English. And I'm delighted to welcome Lynne. Hi, Lynne.
Hi, Craig. How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
I think you're looking very summery in your Hawaiian shirt today.
I'm trying to create the illusion that I'm on holiday, even though I'm not going anywhere. I feel I am because I've put this shirt on. That's the idea.
But you will be soon, Craig. You will be.
Yes, let's be optimistic.
That's right. Well, my name's Lynne, and this is my website, putitlikethis.com, and I'm an online teacher offering online courses for people if they're interested, and the focus is to try to help you find your own voice in English, so that to try to express your own personality in English the way that you really want to be, which is not easy.
It's not.
It's not to be. People are often different personalities in different languages, aren't they? Mm-hmm.
They are. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People are joining us live. Let's say hello to Fabiana. Hello, Gemma's here. How are you doing, Gemma? Alonso and Norma. Welcome.
Norma again. Hello. Welcome. Nice to see you all again. Okay.
What are we talking about this week?
Right. Well, this week is actually, after having just said, it's nice to see if you can express yourself in English. One of the big differences between languages is that, I don't know if this has happened to you, Craig, when I speak Spanish, sometimes I try to translate things that I would normally say in English that are a little bit quirky or that express my personality when I finish somebody's sentence or they say something and I react to it. And you have a certain way of doing that in your own language. And sometimes I try to translate those things into Spanish and it doesn't work. No. Often I am married to a Spanish guy, and my in-laws, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my brothers and sisters-in-law, it often happens to me at Christmas that I'm sitting there and I try to be funny, and then sometimes people go and then I'm sure after all these years they say, it's just because she's English. She's just she's a bit,
she's English. Just leave her alone. Leave her alone. Pass the wine.
Well, that always helps. But the thing is, what we looked at today was there are phrases in a language which you can't really translate directly, but you use them in certain positions, in certain situations. So we thought today we would pick out some of these and try to get you sounding more like a native speaker. So the title of our class today is Sounding Like a Native, 14 Colloquial Expressions. So we'll see if it works.
Now, if you're expecting to know all of these expressions that you've seen them before, don't hold your breath. What does that mean, Lynne? Yeah. Don't hold your breath. Does it mean?
Well, it does. It does really. It does. I think originally it does mean that. When you hold your breath, you stop breathing, right? So, for example, if you jump into a swimming pool, before you jump, you hold your breath, so that when you go down, you've got some air, so you can continue to live, right? But we use this expression. If you're holding your breath, you have a certain expectation that something's going to happen and that it's going to happen soon. So, for example, you hold your breath, you jump in the water because you expect you won't be able to breathe when you're in the water. And we use this expression when we try to tell somebody that the result of what we have been expecting is not going to come immediately. It might take some time. So don't hold your breath, because if you do, possibly you'll be disappointed or you might die. It really means you'll be disappointed. So if you give the maybe now after my explanation, you want to give the example that you just did, because that was perfect. You said...
I can't remember what it was, but let me ask you this, Lynne. Do you think life will go back to be exactly the same as it was before the pandemic?
I don't hold your breath.
Exactly. Don't hold your breath, because it may take some time. It's not going to be quick, and maybe it's not going to happen. So don't hold your breath and wait, because it's not going to happen soon, if ever. Yeah.
If ever, because we're not sure what the future will hold. Don't hold your breath. Another example, let me give a couple. I think we should give maybe a couple of examples in context, and because this is the difficult thing with these colloquial expressions, is finding the right context for them. If you're trying to translate this into your own language, into Spanish or Portuguese, I don't know where people are from here, but then you're from all over the world. If you try to translate these into your own language, maybe you use them in the wrong situation. So don't hold your breath really means this might not happen right now. Yeah, it might take longer than we expect. So let me give you another example. Maybe you can think of a teenager who is deciding what they want to study. Well, I've got one of these because one of my daughters is deciding right now, what is she going to study? And then one day she might think, I'm going to study journalism. And the next day she says, I'm going to study maths. And the next day she might say, I think I'm going to study biology. And then somebody asks me, Lynne, what has your daughter decided to study? And then I'd say, well, the last thing she told me was that she wanted to study biology, but don't hold your breath, because I'm expecting that next week she'll probably change her mind again.
I've thought of another example. My sister's having some work done in her, she's just recently moved house. So she's got the painter and the carpenter and the plumber and the electrician all working there, promising they're going to finish in a week or 10 days. So obviously if I say, do you think the workmen are going to finish on time? She would say, well, don't hold your breath, because you know what workmen are like. They usually take much longer than they say. Don't hold your breath. It's going to be a long wait.
Yes. Exactly.
By the way, before we go to our next example, you can join us live on StreamYard. You can see the link at the bottom of the screen. It's also in the chat. So we'd love you to come on and give your own examples and say hi and tell us where you're from. Or just write in the chat. If you don't want to come on live on camera, then write in the chat and we will put your examples up on the screen. It's good to practice these expressions because it's a bit like your phone number or the license number of your car. If you don't use it a lot, if you don't keep saying it, you don't remember it. So practice these expressions, write them, and hopefully they will stick. But don't hold your breath.
You have to keep saying that's not nice. We have more faith in you. We're not holding. I'm sure you guys will be able to.
Yes, of course you will.
But it is true what he says. I think the best way, if you're driving in your car on your own, when you've got these phrases, just try to say them out loud. Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. Because the thing is, these phrases come very quickly to end a little interaction or a little conversation that you're having. It's often a way to finish the conversation as well. Oh, yeah, but don't hold your breath. That means don't ask me any more as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's the end. Don't expect anything. So sometimes, but it's important that you can say these things quickly, obviously, right? So if you practice out loud in the car, I think it's really good to say, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath.
Look at this traffic. Do you think we'll get to the airport on time? Well, don't hold your breath. It might take some time.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Take it from me, which means take my word for it. Believe me because I know what I'm talking about. For example, I suggest a particular route to get to the airport, for example, and Lynne disagrees and says, no, it's better if we go this way. and I say, no, listen, Lynn, take it from me. This way is the quickest. Believe me, I know what I'm saying. Take it from me. So the individual words, you know these words, they're not complicated. The vocabulary is easy, but together it's a lexical chunk, un trozo de lenguaje, if you speak Spanish. So it's something that's very commonly used in colloquial English. Take it from me, I know what I'm saying.
And you can, some of these have equivalents. Another one is believe me. Yeah. And of course, that's much simpler, isn't it? Believe me. But what most native speakers say, they don't say believe me. I mean, some do, but take it from me is much more urgent. You know, it's more emphatic. And
or believe you me.
That's another one.
Have you heard that one?
Yeah,
believe you me.
Which means I'm telling the truth. Believe you, believe me. But we put it in a different order. Believe you me. Or take it from me. Or believe me.
Andrea's got an example. Oh, no, sorry. That's Maria. Hi, Maria. Maria's joining us from Huesca. And Andrea says, don't hold your breath if you can speak faster English.
Now, you know what? That's not natural. Now, I'll tell you why. Because you're looking doubtful, Craig. So can I tell them why?
Yeah,
I know
something
why.
strange. Why?
You know what's strange? Is because you don't finish. After you say, don't hold your breath, it is on its own and it's at the end, right?
Yes.
So you don't follow it with an explanation. You
Correct.
put the explanation first, right? And then you say, but don't hold your breath. Full stop. Finished. End of conversation, right? So that little phrase, don't hold your breath, comes at the end of something, but you can't continue it. No? Okay. So the examples that, take it from Craig.
I was going to say, take it from me. Lynn knows what she's talking about. Take it from me. She knows what she's saying.
And if you, I don't know if you play this back, if the people who watch live, if they do play it back to the examples that Craig and I gave you just before. And you see that in all of those examples, Craig gave the example first and then finished, don't hold your breath.
Don't hold your breath. Yeah.
Okay. So it's the end of a sentence. It's something that finishes something. Take it from me, on the other hand, starts something.
Yes.
Doesn't it?
It goes at the beginning.
It can start something or it can finish something for emphasis. So
and believe you me as well.
So you can start it by saying, take it from me, I know the best way to get to the airport. Or you can say, I know the best way to get to the airport. Take it from me. Okay. So it's either at the beginning or at the end. And the same with believe you me. Okay.
More people are joining as we speak. Hello,
lovely.
Christine, who's with us again. Good to see you here. Andrea, Maria Heidi from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Maite from Totana. Not sure where Totana is, Maite. Where are you in the world? Totana. Letty, hello. And Nacho from Cantabria. Murcia, Spain. Thank you, Maite, from Murcia. The Garden of Europe.
Murcia. Yeah.
That's where they grow the vegetables and the fruits and the lovely produce that we eat here in Spain. Okay, let's move on then. So, damage is
what's the
Daniel.
Damage?
What damage? What's the damage? Now, if you crash your car, there's a lot of damage. If you flood your house, there's a lot of damage. If your cat scratches your furniture, it damages the furniture. But if we go out for a meal, Lynn, and we split the bill, and you say to me, Craig, what's the damage? What does that mean?
What's the damage? It means, how much do I have to give you? How much money do I have to pay? What does it cost? Yeah. What's the damage? It's very colloquial, so it's usually used between friends or in very informal situations. So if you go to a nice posh fancy restaurant, you don't say to the waiter, "Oh, waiter, what's the damage?"
What's the damage?
Right? No, you don't say that, right? Then that restaurant is too high class. You don't say that. You say, "May I have the bill, please?" But if you're in a pub and it's colloquial, or in a cafe or a bar and it's a little bit more informal, then that's quite a cool way, isn't it, of asking for the bill. So you say, "Hey, can you tell me what's the damage?"
And I think it's quite a British English expression.
It is British,
well.
And we often say, but we in the most common context is not necessarily to somebody you don't know, but to somebody you know. I think, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So especially when you're splitting the bill between a group of friends, what's the damage?
How much do I owe you?
How much do I owe you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How much money do I need to give you? Now, if you don't want to split the bill, if you want to pay for your friend, you would say this: "It's on me." That doesn't mean that the food is on your head or you have wine on your shirt, maybe, but it just means that the bill, or in American English, the check, you are going to pay for it. So you are treating your friend. That's another useful expression that I'll put in the chat. If you treat someone, then you pay for their coffee, their beer, their meal. So if you say "it's my treat," that's the same as saying "it's on me," which means I'm paying. Don't worry.
Don't worry, it's on me. Now, "it's on me," I think, is a lovely expression for the people who are Spanish speakers here, because in Spanish, I apologize because there might be other languages here, just to put it in brackets, this doesn't apply to you, but in Spanish, of course, you try to say something in Spanish with invitar, no? Yo voy a invitarte. But we don't say that in English. We don't say "I invite you," right? You say "it's on me." Okay?
Yeah. That's a common mistake.
That's a very common mistake, because to invite somebody means to ask them if they want to go with you, but it doesn't mean that they're going to pay. So, for example, this is a problem for you guys, because if the Spanish speakers, somebody says to them, "I'd like to invite you to a restaurant tonight," you might get a bad surprise when they say, "What's the damage?" Because you might not be expecting to pay, but you might have to pay. Okay. Yeah. So be very careful with the verb invite. Yeah. So, but "it's on me" means "let me pay."
Yeah. And that's why when you get to a particular level in English, I'd say probably after A2, it's not effective to translate from Spanish to English. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it's useful, but just be very, very careful, because many expressions, like the example Lynne just gave, or "I am 16 years old," where you can't translate from Spanish because it translates as "I have 16," and that's wrong. You have to be very careful about not translating everything literally from Spanish to English, or from your language to English.
Maybe you can just flash up what Jorge Bejarano has said. So Jorge is saying "it's on me," or "can I say I pay, don't worry?" Well, nearly. You can say "I'll pay," I'll, right? You need the will there for spontaneous decision, right? You don't say present simple. So you have to say "I'll pay, don't worry."
I would say I'll get it. I'll get this.
Or I'll get this.
I'll get it.
I'll get this. But you can say "I'll pay, don't worry." That's I've heard that. But what you have to have, though, is the "oh" sound, the will, right? And we don't say "I will pay," because that sounds like you're commanding somebody. We always contract it, but you've got to be very careful so you hear it. So listen, "I'll pay, don't worry." I'll pay, or I'll get it. I'll get it. And I can also say, this is also causes problems when you use a word, a name. So I say, "Don't worry, Craig'll get it." Craig'll. Craig'll get it. And he might say, no, tonight Lynne'll get it.
Yeah, tonight It's on
or
Lynne.
it's on
Lynne.
Lynne.
That's not easy to say, by the way. Lynne will get it. Lynne will get it. That's difficult.
Yeah.
One more thing, Jorge, when you're using the present simple like that, it often means it's a habit, it's a custom. So I could say, for example, I go out with my sister regularly. We go to a nice restaurant and I pay. If it's something that always happens, I always pay. I always pay. So you can use the present simple. Just know that it's not a decision at the time of speaking or an offer. It's a regular habit that keeps happening. I always pay.
So that could get Jorge into problems, yeah? Because imagine you take somebody out for dinner for the first time and then you want to impress them and you say, it's on me. I pay, don't worry. Maybe they expect you to pay every time you go out with them.
Exactly. Yeah. Hi, Eva. Okay. She says, Craig will get it. Difficult. Yeah, that's difficult
Craig
for me to say.
Difficult too.
So remember, when you go to a restaurant, if you want to pay, it's on me, or I'll get this, or I'll pay. What's next? Let's have a look. Remember, you can join us live. If you want to say hi, just type in the link into your browser, streamyard.com, and then the letters. And I'll also put that again in the chat if you want to come and say hi and tell us where you're from. And maybe use one of these expressions and give us an example. Okay, let's go to the next expression. One. It's on me.
I like this one. I love this one.
Off what?
Because
something can be off if the fish is a week outside the refrigerator in Valencia in July. It's off. It smells bad. It's not good to eat it. The milk goes off if you leave it outside the fridge. But that's not the meaning we want to explain today, is it, Lynne?
No. You say with a group of friends, right? I'm going to link all of these phrases in so that you keep practicing them, right? So imagine Craig and I are out for dinner with another couple of friends. There's a group of us, 6 people. And then Craig says, so what's the damage? And then I might get up and I'll say, oh, hi, well, I'm off. And I'm off means I'm going home. I'm leaving. Right? So if I don't want to pay, I might say, oh, I'm off. Don't ask me what the damage is. I'm off. I'm going. I'm leaving. So I'm off means I'm leaving.
If you're a Spanish speaker, it's me voy or me marcho. And you can also say, I must go now. I have to go. Or see you later. Is there a particular expression you use, Lynne, when you're leaving? I tend to say, maybe I'm off, but definitely I'll see you later.
I say see you later, but I have to say I'm off now. I'm off now. See you next week.
I must go.
Or I must go now. But often I'm off. I'm off. And that's really nice because that's easy to say, isn't it? I'm off.
I'm off. Christine's asking, this round's on me. Yes, because you buy a round of drinks, don't you? So it's
yes, you do.
Not usually used for things like tapas or snacks. You wouldn't say it. Only for drinks or shots or wine or whatever you're drinking. Yeah. And not used for soft drinks very often. You wouldn't usually a round of coffee or a round of tea. You wouldn't know.
No, you wouldn't. You're
alcohol.
Right.
Alcohol.
It's like in a bar. It's in a bar setting.
And Alonso is asking on second thought.
Oh, great! Alonso is the first person who's brought in a lovely colloquial phrase. Lovely.
Yeah. On second thought. Yeah. Pensándolo bien. Pensándolo mejor. Exactly.
But do you say, Craig, on second thought? I say on second thoughts. Do you put it in the plural or the singular?
That's a good question. Plural. I use it with an S. Yeah,
I use it with an S, Alonso. Yeah. So on second thoughts, on second thoughts, I don't know why. It doesn't make much sense. But I think we usually always put an S on it. On second thoughts, I think I'll pay the bill.
On second thoughts, I'll let you pay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm in a rush, but then you might have to justify why, Jorge. So I'm in a rush. Why? Where are you going? What's happening? So I'm in a rush. I need to make dinner. I'm in a rush. I'll be late for work. I'm in a rush. I need to do something at home. So yeah, if you're in a rush, you're in a hurry. But why? Because maybe someone will say, well, where are you going? Why are you running away?
Maybe Jorge, I don't know, but maybe Jorge was using it in the sense of, when I gave that example where I say we're a group of people and then one of them is about to pay the bill and they say, what's the damage? And then I say, I'm off. I'm in a rush. I can use I'm in a rush to explain why I'm off. Why I don't want to pay. That's possible.
I must go. I'm in a rush. Okay, excellent. Okay. Now, speaking of restaurants and food, dig in. Now, you might know the verb to dig, which if you're a Spanish speaker is cavar, so you dig a hole. Or if you go to the beach, maybe you dig with some sand and play with the children with diggings in the sand, for example, or you dig the garden. But what's the connection with food when you dig, when you say dig into someone?
Are you asking me or asking them? Okay, I'll answer that one. Both, yeah. So dig in means please help yourself get started, eat with lots of pleasure.
Get stuck in.
Dig in means please start eating with pleasure. Don't be shy. Don't take a little bit. But please dig in. It means enjoy. Yeah. I think it is a little bit metaphorical because with the fork, the fork, it's like a bit like a shovel, isn't it? When you dig. So it means, eat a lot, dig in, which means help yourself and eat as much as you want.
And there's a similar expression that I've just put in the chat. Get stuck in. Get stuck into the food. Start eating. It's getting cold. Hurry up and start eating. It's a shame if it gets cold. So it's a very informal expression, which means start eating. Don't wait, because English people very often, well, many cultures, not just English, when food is served at the table, they'll sit and they'll wait for everybody to have a plate of food before beginning to eat. So if it's an informal occasion, you say, come on, dig in, don't wait. The food's getting cold. Start eating now.
But it is informal, all right? So if you're in a formal dinner, you don't turn to your boss and say, dig in, do you? Really?
No.
It's quite informal. And also, I think it's important just to mention that, you're looking at that and you might think, dig in is a phrasal verb. And you're right, it's a phrasal verb. But be careful with these expressions that we're teaching you today, because these expressions, they're like what Craig said, they're lexical chunks. So what you shouldn't go away is I don't want you to go away and try to conjugate that and say, my sister is digging in, or do you dig in every week? Or because you can't, this language is usually in very fixed blocks. Grammatically, it is a phrasal verb, and it's theoretically possible to conjugate it and put it with modal verbs and what have you, but it's not common, right? So the things that we're teaching you today, you have to learn them like a chunk. It's a chunk of language.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So they're expressions that you would use specifically in the situations, the examples that we're giving you, and say them when you're sitting at the table, for example. Speaking of informality and being formal, Cloudcam asks, is it okay to say I'm off in an informal way? Yes. All of these, I think there's one formal expression today, and everything else are very informal expressions. Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, definitely informal, Cloudcam. So moving on then from dig in, this is the formal one.
Be that as it may. I'm going to leave that one to you. I haven't got anything prepared for that, Craig.
Okay, be that as it may. So be that as it may means, although that may be true. Let me give you an example. I enjoy my teaching job. I like being a teacher. Be that as it may, it's not very well paid. So even though what came before is true, I want to say this. Okay. Another example, I haven't traveled anywhere for about 2 years. I've been here in my flat most of the time. Be that as it may, I'm not unhappy. I quite like being at home. So even though I haven't traveled, I'm not unhappy. Be that as it may, I'm quite happy to be at home talking to you guys.
And in the 2 examples that Craig's given you, that's been in sentences that he's used. So he's used something before, then he's used be that as it may, and then he's put something afterwards. Okay, so it's like a stream of speech that's come from Craig. And be that as it may also can be used in a little interaction, right? So for example, imagine I'm a very strict teacher and one of my students comes to me and says they haven't done their homework and they couldn't do the essay and they couldn't do what I asked them to, and they've forgotten to bring their book, and that was and they're late again, right? And they're giving me lots of excuses about why they are not doing what they should be doing. And I might interrupt them and I can say, be that as it may, but you have responsibilities to your other classmates and you're making my class late every week. Yep. So I begin my counterattack by saying, although you are telling me all these things, I think something different, right? So that might be true, but and then I continue. So that word, be that as it may, sometimes you can use it in your continuous speech like Craig did, or it could be in a little conversation when you're trying to say, I don't care what you're telling me. I have my other opinion about this. And I'm not a strict teacher, am I?
No. Well, yeah, maybe you are. Be that as it may, you're also very nice. Christine says, I learned this expression in C1. Yeah, and it's also very useful in writing. In fact, most of the expressions today, I don't know if they will be suitable in an exam essay, more for informal colloquial conversation when you're chatting with English speakers. But definitely, be that as it may is a very useful expression in your writing, if you're writing an essay or something for an exam. Yeah. Anyway, be that as it may, shall we move on?
Yeah, go on.
In a heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. So your heart is beating. Your heart is beating. That happens very quickly, doesn't it? A heartbeat it goes very quickly. So if you would do something immediately without a second thought or without second thoughts, you do it in a heartbeat. You would do it in a heartbeat. If I could.
So Craig, if I told you that I can give you some tickets to go to Indonesia next week, would you go?
I would go in a heartbeat. I would go immediately. Another expression you could say, which means the same, at the drop of a hat. If you have a hat and you drop it, that happens very quickly also. So if you do something at the drop of a hat, that idiom means you do it immediately in a heartbeat. I'll also put that expression.
Christine has just put as well, in the blink of an eye. There's a little typo. There should be an N in the blink of an eye. This is your eye, obviously your eye. And when you do this, when you close them like that, then you're blinking. And in the blink of an eye also means immediately. Yeah. So we've got, the drop of a hat, in a heartbeat, and in the blink of an eye. Okay.
And Natalia says that she's unemployed at the moment, unfortunately. Be that as it may, she does have a lot of time to spend with her daughter, so that's good.
It's fantastic, and you've used it absolutely correctly. Spot
Perfect,
on.
Natalia.
Yeah.
Every cloud has a silver lining. Fantastic.
Right.
Now, just looking at the latest comments, I'm juggling I'm swapping two
I can
things
see.
here.
Yeah, I'm swapping two things. All right.
I tell you, technology, when technology works, it's absolutely fantastic. But talking about technology, don't get me started. I had lots of problems yesterday. Don't get me started means I'm very passionate about this subject. And if I start talking about it, I'm going to get angry or I'm going to rant. Now, that's an interesting word, to rant.
So that phrase is a little bit of a, it doesn't mean you're not asking somebody to do something, but you're warning them with that phrase. You're warning them that what you're about to hear is something that you're very passionate about. And it's a bit unpleasant, isn't it? You're going to say something. You're introducing the fact that the next bit of news that you're going to tell everybody is annoying you. It's very annoying, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. If I say to you, have you heard the latest about Brexit?
Oh, don't get me started on that topic.
Don't get me started on that.
There's nothing more that makes me more annoyed than all of the problems that are coming with Brexit. Don't get me started. I can talk to you about that for hours. All right. So there was a good example. So when we say don't get me started, you're really showing the other people that what you're about to say is very near to your heart, that you're very passionate about it, and you're very much in disagreement with whatever it is. So don't get me started. Now we could talk about football about that as well, couldn't we? Because
don't get me started. Hey, did you have split loyalties yesterday with England and Germany?
Don't get me started on that. I definitely did, because I used to live in Germany for 13 years. And I don't know if the people in South America know this, but we have this European Cup going on at the moment. And yesterday, England played Germany. And for the years when I used to live in Germany, I used to watch the match when it was England and Germany with my German friends. And I was the sole supporter of England.
Flying the flag.
And we always lost. Yesterday, England won. They beat Germany for the first time since 1966.
That's right.
And can you believe, don't get me started, because can you believe I didn't see the game? I didn't see it.
Me neither. I was working. I didn't see it. I was working.
I was so annoyed. I was working too, and I was hearing it in the car when I was coming home, and I thought, I can't believe this. I've been waiting for the moment where England would beat Germany, and they did, and I missed it.
Yeah, don't get me started.
But be that as it may, Craig, I did send lots of texts to my German friends going,
I bet you did.
We beat you.
I bet you did, yeah. Sweet revenge.
Right.
Clarkam's asking, do you use this expression to complain about something is better than anything? To say something, complain about something? Usually, but not always. Do you agree?
I don't think it's complex. It depends what you mean by complaining.
Negative. I think something negative.
You are complaining, but you're not complaining to somebody who can do anything about this. Like, for example, if you have a problem in a shop and you want to take something back to complain, this phrase doesn't fit in at all.
No.
Okay. But when I'm talking to Craig about Brexit or football or whatever, what I'm really doing is I am complaining because there's something that I'm not happy with. But of course, it's usually
negative, isn't it? You wouldn't say it about a positive thing.
Exactly. So you use it to introduce something negative, but it's got no relation to the person who's listening to me. So there's nothing that I'm not complaining to Craig. Okay, he's just got to listen. But it is true that I'm complaining.
Christine's asking, is it similar to don't make me talk? No, I would not use that expression. No, Christine. It's a standalone chunk of language used in specific situations. Let me give another example. Recently here in Spain, they increased the price of the electricity. Ooh. So if Lynn says to me, oh, yesterday I got my electricity bill, it's much more expensive than last month, I would say, don't get me started on the price of the electricity. Everything goes up except our salaries. Don't get me started. It means I'm very passionate about this subject. And when I begin to talk about it, I get angry, I get frustrated. So don't get me started on it. And usually you say that and then you complain.
And then you do complain.
So don't get me started, but blah, 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 blah. And you get very angry because you feel passionate, usually in a negative way, about the subject.
Yeah, so I hope that helps, Clau. Or Cam. I don't know which name is the first name. Clau Cam. But you said Clau Cam. I hope that's because I'm not sure what you meant in the question there. Right.
Okay, so let's move to the next one. Remember, you can join us if you want to come in and say hello. The link is at the bottom of the screen. Just type it in your browser, and I will bring you into Facebook Live. Now, the next expression we have for you, Lynn lent me €500 last month to pay my electricity bill. But unfortunately,
I think that's wishful thinking.
Unfortunately, Lynn, I don't have the €500 to pay you back. Is it okay if I pay you €300 this month and €200 next month? Is that okay?
Well, if you pay me €300 this month and €300 next month, I can live with that.
€100 interest? I can't live with that.
Oh, well, it's 2 months.
She drives a hard bargain, that Lynn. So if you can live with something, you can accept it. It's okay.
You're in agreement.
You're in agreement. Yeah, you can settle for it. It's something that you can get used to.
I can live with that.
Can you think of another example?
Yeah, for example, we're talking a lot about the COVID restrictions and what we can do and what we can't do. We can go, at the moment in Spain, we're allowed to go around the streets without our masks, but we have to put them on in public transport or when we're inside. And then some people are saying, oh, we want to have the masks off all the time. And then other people are saying, but if we have the masks off all the time, very soon we'll be back in lockdown. Okay. And then I say, look, we can take the masks off when we're out for a walk and there's nobody around. And if they ask us to put our masks on when we're in the metro, I can live with that. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can live with that. It's a compromise. It's okay. It's fine. Yeah, I can live with that. And again, it's one of these phrases that we should have really put a full stop after that. I can live with that, because it's a phrase to end an interaction, right? So Craig is asking, we're talking about something. And when I say I can live with that, that finishes the topic, doesn't it? It closes the topic. And then you can talk about something else. Yeah.
Full stop. I can live with that. I can live with a full stop.
You are so clever. You did that in a heartbeat.
I did it at the drop of a hat. Yes.
You did indeed. So take it from me. Although he says he's not a whiz kid with technology, he is. Take it from me.
Thank you. But that's not true. Now, if someone is having difficulties in their life, and let's face it, at the moment with the pandemic, some people have lost their job, some people have unfortunately become sick, some people may be in hospital, and they're having a very hard time. What can you say to them? Well, one expression you can say when people are having a bad time in life is hang in there, or hang on in there. That's quite a positive expression, which means don't give up hope. Things will get better. Just wait until this passes and things will improve. Hang in there. It will get better.
So hang on in there. It's very common, that as well, isn't it, to say? And it's when you haven't got anything else to say, really, isn't it, sometimes? Because sometimes the situation is very negative, but you want to express your solidarity with somebody, and you want to, as Craig says, give them hope, and you want to show them that you support them, right, in some way. So then you say, hang on in there. Hang in there.
Now, be careful, because you might look at the preposition on, you might say, well, hang on means wait. Yes, it does. Hang on or hold on means wait a minute, just a second. This is a different use of the phrasal verb hang on in there, or hang in there. So not hang on, hang in means be patient, have faith, be optimistic, things will get better and things will improve. Hang in there.
I think there's another meaning of the phrasal verb. This is not, well, it's to link to the phrase, but I'm going out in more explanation. When you hang on to something, it means you don't let go. So, for example, if you're climbing a mountain, and you are there, and then you can't go anywhere, and you go, help, and they say, hang on, they don't mean wait. You are literally hanging on. If you let go, then you'll fall. So this expression, hang on in there, means don't give up. No, just I think in Spanish you have this lovely word which we don't have in English, which is aguantar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Aguante. I don't know in other languages for the other people who are not Spanish speakers, but that's what it means. Hang on in there means just keep trying, keep doing. Don't. Oh, Christine's come up with a lovely one. Look at that. Don't throw in the towel. Brilliant, Christine.
That happens in boxing, doesn't it? If there's a boxer who's really struggling and they're getting hit and they're bleeding and they're losing and maybe they're dizzy, the trainer might throw in the towel to stop the fight. So when you see the towel, if you remember Rocky, was it Rocky 2 or Rocky 3?
Oh, God, I don't know.
Rocky was going to throw in the towel with his Apollo Creed was really losing. And then Apollo Creed fell over, hit his head and died because Rocky didn't throw in the towel quickly enough. So for all you Rocky fans out there.
Don't get him started on Rocky.
Don't get me started on Rocky.
Don't get him started on Rocky.
But that's a positive use, though, of don't get me started. That's not true, a negative use. Anyway, where are we?
I want to ask these people if we. I'm sorry, everybody. Maybe we have thoroughly confused you so far. I don't know.
Probably.
Are you still hanging on in there with us? Are you hanging on in there with us, or have we lost you? Maybe you can let us know.
Yeah. Do you know how many people are watching us, Lynn, at the moment? Without looking.
All right. Off the top of my head, maybe 15.
But there's nothing on the top of your head. What do you mean off the top of your head?
That means I will give a quick guess. Just a spontaneous guess. So off the top of my head, maybe there are 15. Tell me, how many people are watching us at the moment? You've got the statistics I can't see.
37.
Oh, wow. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody. So off the top of your head, you do not have the facts. You don't have the information. It's just from your guessing or you're estimating something. And there's another word that puts to guess and to estimate together, which is guesstimate. You can guesstimate something. You've not heard that before? Guesstimate.
No, I haven't heard that one before.
A guesstimate is a mixture of a guess and an estimate. Then that means you're giving information off the top of your head. So that's another colloquial expression to use if you're not sure and you want to cover yourself, you can say. So you want to protect your reputation. If you ask me a very difficult grammar question, Craig, why is this blah, 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 blah? So, well, off the top of my head, I think So that's without looking in the book to check. It's off the top of my head.
So you haven't checked it. You're warning somebody, really, that what you're about to say might be wrong. Because it's just you're following your intuition, but you're not 100% certain. That's what you're warning, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, off the top of my head. Okay. Next one. Oh, well, you see when you get two native speakers trying to explain all these difficult things
off the top of their heads.
Off the top of their heads, which we are doing. We're doing all of this off the top of their heads. Some people might think that's a recipe for disaster.
But we're not cooking food, are we? We're not cooking anything.
No, it's a recipe for disaster is a phrase, and it means that what you are doing potentially looks like it will end in disaster, that it's going to end up wrong. Would you say that? Or I am predicting that this will not end well.
Do you think if one of your daughters said to you, Mum, I've got a test tomorrow, I haven't revised, I'm going to stay up all night and study, not sleep at all and take the test the following day, do you think that's a good idea?
No, it's a recipe for disaster. Absolutely. It's a recipe for disaster.
Another example is sometimes I try to be the same age as my students. I speak about the music they like when they're 21 or 22 years old, and I might dress the same as my students to try and be trendy and try and be cool. And believe you me, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, Cloud's come up with lovely.
Adam says, hey, we're both so cool. No, Adam, we are a recipe for disaster.
And Cloud has said, stupidity and pride are a recipe for disaster. Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Absolutely
lovely
true.
Expression.
I can go there. Right. Now,
speaking of music that the young people like these days, I don't understand it. I can't get my head around it.
You mean the music that I like, Craig? You mean the music that I like?
The music that young ladies like you who are 18, 19 years old, I can't get my head around that kind of music. I don't understand it. I don't comprehend it. It's beyond my understanding. So to get your head around something means you understand it, it's okay, you're fine with it. But if you can't get your head around it, and this is often used in the negative, you don't understand it. It's something that's beyond your comprehension.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you can't get your head around, Lynn, these days?
Well, yes, I think sometimes with all the COVID restrictions, sometimes they seem very contrary. You know, like, for example, I've got some friends who are trying to go back to Britain to visit their families. And at the moment, there's a lot of restrictions. They have to pay a lot of money for PCR tests. They have to spend 14 days into quarantine. Then they have to spend more money on PCR tests in order to come home. And it's costing them a lot of money. And they're actually going home to look after elderly parents. Yeah. And then I heard that because of the football, which was being held in Wembley, that they were suddenly allowing lots and lots of football fans to go from all over Europe, and they had special privileges to go to see the football. And I can't get my head around that. I can't get my head around the fact that so many people can have such a privilege and normal people can't. So I can't get my head around that. Don't get me started on that, because then
Don't get me started on COVID restrictions. The people that went out, the kids of the end of the year course that went out to the island to celebrate, where did they go? Mallorca?
They went to Mallorca.
Yeah, I can't get my head around it. The parents are suing the government because they're keeping them on the island. I can't get my head around it. Don't get me started. Understandable. Although
Yeah.
I do like rap. I must admit, I can get my head around rap. I can't get my head around country music. You know, American country music from Nashville and Tennessee.
That's not young people's music. That's not young people's music.
It's a genre, but I can't get my head around it. And Christine can't get her head around phrasal verbs. Yeah, that's very common, Christine. Yeah.
You haven't got the hang of them yet.
You haven't got the hang of them. Not yet, but I think you're on the way. But yeah, phrasal verbs are tricky.
Yeah, well, once you get your head around the phrasal verbs, you'll love them, because then, like, native speakers love inventing phrasal verbs all the time, you see. So once you get your head around it, you know, then you'll get on.
Gemma can't get her head around young people who are not vaccinated yet. Me neither. Well, I can get my head around that, but what I can't get my head around, Gemma, are people who refuse to be vaccinated without a genuine health reason. I can't get my head around why they wouldn't get vaccinated and risk dying from COVID. But everybody has their right to choose. So anyway, I think that was the last one. So shall we quickly review our expressions before we have to say goodbye?
Yeah, well, don't hold your breath.
Now, you will remember these expressions, won't you, audience? Don't hold your breath.
Well, we're not holding our breath, right? Yeah.
So hold your breath means don't expect it to happen for a very long time.
Overnight.
So it won't happen exactly. It won't happen overnight.
Right.
Lynn?
But take it from me. I've been in Spain like 21 years right now. And if you do practice one or two of these, I think, take it from me, it's very difficult to remember all of them. But if you pick one or two that you really like, make sure that you can pronounce them really quickly.
Write them down.
Then you can sneak it into your language. Write it down, but say it over and over and over in the car. And think of situations when you can say it, you know. Then, you know, it gets you on the way to sounding like a native. I think. So
you're in the restaurant, you've asked the waiter for the bill, you're with your friends, here comes the bill is on the table. What's the damage? Means how much do I need to pay? How much do I owe you for the meal or the beers or the coffee?
And because Craig has no money because his electricity bill is so high, I would say it's on me, which means I'll pay for it.
When it's time to go home, instead of saying I'm going home now, just say I'm off. I'm sorry, time's getting on, I'm off. I need to go.
Okay. And we should have put this at the beginning when we go to the restaurant. So when all the food comes, if you want to say, let's get started, or please, let's start, let's eat, then it's dig in. Dig in.
The restaurant was a little bit expensive. Be that as it may, the food was excellent and the service was absolutely wonderful. So I would go back there.
In a heartbeat. Without thinking twice. No second thoughts, as one of our students told us today.
Yeah. Okay. If you're very frustrated about something and a subject comes up in conversation, don't get me started means I don't want to speak about this. I feel very passionate about it and it makes me angry. Don't get me started about the football. Don't get me started about the vaccinations. Don't get me started about COVID.
And if there's a compromise that you are willing, you can say, I can live with that. So I can put up with that. That's fine by me. I can live with that.
Someone's going through a rough time, a bad time. Things are not going well. You can say, hang in there. Be patient. Things will get better.
Off the top of my head, is you use this at the beginning of a phrase to tell the listener that the thing that you're about to say hasn't been checked and you're not 100% certain that it's the correct answer. But so you're giving an answer very spontaneously to the other person's question, but you're warning them that your answer might not be 100% correct. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And two teachers both speaking on Facebook Live without any notes, without any preparation, just speaking off the top of their head could be a recipe for disaster. It could end very badly.
Mm-hmm. And the last one, I don't know what to say. I do. I'll tell you what, I can't get my head around it still. The fact that we've got 37 people live enjoying the class with us today, and they're all over the world. That's something I can't get my head around. No, can you?
I can't get my head around it either. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful. Let's have a quick look at the comments. Thank you, CloudCam, for coming. Thank you, Natalia. And thank you, Hema. And as Lynn said, write down 2 or 3 of your favorite expressions and try and use them this week when you're practicing your English. We'll be back next week, won't we, Lynn? Monica is having a well-deserved rest. So Lynn will be back next week. And let us know if you would like us to introduce some more expressions similar to the ones that you've seen today. You can reach me here on the Facebook page, or Mancy on Twit. You can reach me on Twitter. And of course, you can find Lynn on her website, which is, off the top of my head, putitlikethis.com.
Well done. Absolutely. Great. Thank you, Craig. And thank you, everybody, for listening.
Well, wait, before we go, let's dig in a bit to what's on your website.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll not say off the top of my head because I know absolutely what's on the top of my head. But put it like this, I offer online classes. And if anybody's interested in doing online teaching classes, then I tailor-make my classes for my students. So I teach all sorts of English. But if you go to my website, you'll see all the different types of things that I offer. Mm-hmm.
Putitlikethis.com. And for free courses and paid courses and a bi-monthly newsletter. So every 2 weeks, we also have a newsletter that's free. You can sign up for that at mancioningles.com. Lots of free resources there to help you with your English. And every week there's a podcast at inglespodcast.com or wherever you listen to your audio. So CloudCam says, sadly, she's off, and sadly, we're off too. So we'll see you soon. Take care.
Yeah. Okay. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.